Stratified epithelium are going to be defined by the fact that they have more than one layer. So a stratified epithelium can have anywhere from 2 to 20 or more layers of cells. So what this looks like, you're going to have this first layer of cells is going to be connected to this basement membrane at the bottom. And then there's going to be continued layers of cells on top of that. And then only the top layer of cells up here will be open to the external surface. There's a very unique type of stratified epithelial called transitional epithelium, and that's kind of an old name. It was thought to transition between stratified squamous and stratified qualimer, and we now know that's not true, so the correct name for it is urothelium. However, majority of people still consider this transitional epithelium, and it's odd because it's the stratified epithelium, but it doesn't have one single cell shape. So they're not all squamous or columnar or cuboidal cells. They kind of tend to start in one shape and then kind of change shape as you move through these different layers. So the first type of stratified epithelium is going to be stratified, squamous, keratinized epithelium. So let's look at the meaning of these words. So this is going to mean many layers. Squamous is squished. So we're looking mostly for thin cells that have been squished together, and they have keratin in them. So keratin is a protein that you find in your skin and hair and nails that's going to help you maintain water. So keratin is a water repellent. So functions are going to help to resist abrasion and penetration. So we find this in our skin. Our epidermis specifically is made up of this keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, and it's going to help to prevent penetration by protecting the outside of our body. And then the keratin is what helps us prevent water loss. Similar to that, we have stratified, so meaning many layers. Squamous, this is still squished. Non-keratinized. So here's the basement membrane down here, and then here's the outer surface. And all of these cells look the same color because none of them have keratin in it. If we go back to the previous slide, here's the basement membrane. Here's the free surface. This area here is all full of keratin. And so we see kind of this distinct difference in these two layers, where the keratinized water repellent cells are on the outside, and then we have kind of the living cells on the inside. In the non-keratinized cells, they're all living and they're moist and slippery. So these are going to be to help, again, resist abrasion and penetration, but these are not going to prevent water loss. So non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium is found in places like the tongue, the mouth, the esophagus, the anal canal, the vaginal canal. So these are places that are moist, but you also still want to prevent abrasions. Stratified, cuboidal, so this is typically going to have 2 layers of cube-like cells, and you can see these kind of right here. So here's one cell, here's another cell, so here's one layer here, and then here's another layer right there. And these are found in the sweat glands, the follicles of the ovary, and the ducts, the seminiferous tubules that produce sperm. So depending on where they're at, they're going to produce a different either secretion in a gland or hormones or sperm if it's a female or male reproductive system. And then here's the stratified epithelium that is kind of unique, is the transitional epithelium. This is found in the urinary tract. So it stretches, and it's got this kind of characteristic bumpy shape at the top. So we've got many layers of cells. They look a little squished down at the bottom, and they tend to look a little larger up here at the top. But on the open surface, they've got kind of these dome-like shapes. These are called umbrella cells. And what happens is these umbrella cells have proteins at the top that help make them impermeable to the urine. So the urine is out here in this urinary cavity. Urine can be extremely acidic or extremely basic, and having a wide range of pH, urine can damage cells really quickly. And so having a layer of cells here that can protect against that urine is going to help protect the cell layer. Our bladder is also going to change size. As it fills up, it's going to stretch. Think about filling up a water balloon. The edges of the balloon get thicker, or they get stretched thinner and thinner and thinner. And so by having this thick layer of stratified cells, when the urine fills up the bladder, it has the ability to stretch. And then these are going to thin out as the bladder stretches until it becomes full, and then eventually you would empty your bladder. So take a moment and reflect on the 4 different types of stratified epithelial tissues.